you know, this record was really born out of a longing for the road. I'd been off for about 1.5 years. I'd been writing and recording. And I think it hits you when you're at home and you realize how much you miss connecting with an audience night after night, and traveling and playing your instrument and meeting fans and just everything that comes along with the touring life.
I've been sitting here wondering if I'll ever get back to those wheels. Will I ever be changing those strings out before night? Out there on the highway, out there on the open road.
Keep going.
I should be wearing out the black top, out there with the boys I love. Everybody will roll with me, roll with me.
With this album, I had heard about Charlie Peacock through the Civil Wars album, and I loved that with them, he really melded the emotional and story part of the song with all the music, and it wasn't just about the usual Nashville way of let's get the best steel guitar lick we can get and let's get all the instruments we can get on it, but for him it was really about exposing the emotion of the song and the stories. So I had 4 or 5 songs finished, and I went to his house in December of 2011 and had taken some time off, switched management companies, and split ways with the label, and just didn't really know what the next step was. And I sat in his living room and played 5 songs acoustic and said, I want to do a really raw record with the story songs and just my first really kind of singer-songwriter album. We had this grandiose dream of making the album in 2 weeks, which ended up taking 9 months from start to finish, which was literally like birthing a child this time around, because I didn't have an A&R staff. I didn't have a manager at the time. I didn't have a label. I had no one except me and my poor husband, who I, would wake up at 2 a.m. asking about bridges and everything. But Charlie to me was just such a song guy, and I really trusted his intuition and helping me with song choices and arrangements, and that's crap and that's good, and just really deciding what the core of the album was going to be.
Yeah, and I'll play it. I'll track it if you want.
There's a pre-chorus that I wrote and I knocked out that I want to play for you and see if you want to have it in there. I've never played it for you.
Trying to let you go.
So I got married in 2009 to a drummer, and he brought something called tempo into my life. So it was nice to have that sounding board. He was really important in the production of this record, and Charlie Peacock was great about letting him come in and help make decisions, and he's really a producer at heart. Right now he's playing with the Kings of Leon, and we still write together when we can, and he plays me when he can. But it was really nice to have that support system this time. Before I just had corporate support systems with A&R and managers. So this time I felt like I could almost get more gritty and in my heart and soul with these songs, because I had someone who lived with me to help me sort through them and plan production and do all those things.
So funny, she writes these sad songs, really gut-wrenching pieces, but she's the happiest person I've ever known.
Yeah?
I don't understand it. She channels her grandfather somehow.
Charlie was definitely thinking outside the box, and he said, who is your dream artist to work with? I said, I love Jackson Browne. I love all those songwriters from that era. So he called Jackson's management company, and I wrote them an email. Here's the lyrics of this song, It Would Mean the World. And he wrote back, I'll never forget it, because I remember journalists have asked me, what's your career goals? And I've literally said, for Jackson Browne to approve of my songwriting, or for Tom Waits to approve of my songwriting. So he wrote back and said, I love these lyrics. Come to LA Tuesday.
Would I go there again? Kisses withered face, hold her gentle hand. But there ain't no way that will ever be.
Yeah, let me get you a good Gone Away from me there.
I do an extra pause there.
I didn't sing the notes I wanted to sing on that.
Well, I grew up in a town with one red light.
like that.
Yeah, you got the music gene, girl.
I went off in 42 to fight those bugs and pay my dues. Her wallet picture kept my spirits high.
Waiting on June is the most important song I've ever written for me personally. I was very, very close to my mom's parents, Warren and June White, and that's who this song is talking about. And obviously the Williams family always gets focused on in the press. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm a huge fan of my dad's and grandfather's besides being a family member. And, their music is incredible, and it's really shaped a lot of who I am as an artist. But I didn't know Hank Williams. He died in 1952, and I was very close to my mom's parents. They lived in a little town in Rouge, Louisiana, and they had a cotton farm and raised 4 babies and went through a war and were together from the time they could walk, really, and were married for 56 years. And I lost both of them before this recording, and obviously you don't know what you got till it's gone, the old cliche. Now I would give anything to go back and spend time just with them, not on a holiday, at their house, hanging out with them and listening to my papa's war stories and everything. So this song is completely autobiographical, from every word, from the order of the children to the cook to the war, every single thing. And I'll never forget when I called my mom and told her the lyrics. I thought she didn't like it or she'd hung up on me, and I hear a minute later her just breathing and bawling, crying, and it was pretty emotional for everyone in the family because it's really the story of my papa waiting on my grandmother from when they were little kids to the proposal to having babies all the way up to when he was in heaven before she was and died before her. Okay, so let's start at one by one as kids went off. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, one by one those kids went off and found a love their own. There's nothing like the joy I knew when they brought their babies home. We play all day in the cotton fields with the dogs I raised up right. And in Grandma's kitchen every night.
It's funny because living in Nashville, you always think that everyone wants tempo and everyone wants these catchy songs everyone can sing along to and these radio songs. And that has shockingly become my #1 most popular song, most fan requested. And it's a 6.5-minute folk song about my grandparents, who people don't know besides me. But for whatever reason, they seem to have this really strong connection with it. And so it's my proudest work by far. Okay, y'all ready for me? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why are you drinking like the night is young? Yeah, why are you drinking like the night is young? The kids are in the bed and the day is long done. Why are you drinking like the night is young? Why are you screaming like I don't have ears? Yeah, why are you screaming like I don't have ears?
So Drinkin' was one of those songs that was one of those 10-minute songs. My grandfather had a famous quote that said, if a song can't be written in 10 minutes, it ain't worth writing. Which obviously is not completely true. There have been amazing songs that have taken days, months, years to write. But in this situation, it's one of my favorite songs, and it just poured out. I was doing dishes, and I went and sat down with the guitar, and the whole song just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, the truth is, I never really knew you were everything to me until it was much too late. Everybody says it'll be okay, but I don't know when that day will come. Will it come?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay, can I get a tempo on that right there, Richie?
This is right.
It's
Yeah.
after first chorus, turn around into verse. So
Oh, no, we're talking about 2 different spots.
grandfather always said, I don't know what you mean by country music, I just write songs. That's the motto I live by. I'm just a storyteller and hope to play these songs night after night for plenty of people.
Without you, well, I'm packing up to sing my songs. All these towns blend in.